This next reading is from the book of Daniel. This is chapter 6 and chapter 7. I'm going to turn it this way. I think you can see better. Daniel chapter 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 140 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. The decree of Darius. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion, nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Now, we're about to be at verse 6. I'm reading this story for a reason. You notice when it comes to the children of Israel, oftentimes they will try to, when they can't do something else to take an opportunity away from you or to remove something away from you, something you've worked for, something you've gotten from being righteous or at least attempting to be righteous, they will try to come between you and your God. They will try to say, oh, he didn't do this on the Sabbath, or he did. You'll see this happening throughout the Bible, and you see it happening throughout your actual life on a daily basis, where people will suddenly try to come between you and the Most High when they can't come up with anything else because you've been staying out of the way. So back to chapter 6, verse 6. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now you see how they're already trying to kill him and set him up for death. Now we're at verse 8. In today's current world, what they do with us is they always try to set us against each other. They try to make sure that, we're worshiping on days outside of the Shabbat. They always try to ensure that there's some type of trick going on to separate you, putting pork in, creating your shoes with pork, creating brushes with pork, everything, almost creating soap with pork. Almost everything you come across has pork in it, except the things that they call kosher. Now their stuff doesn't have pork in it, but they'll put all of it in yours. Back to verse 8. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now then Daniel knew that the writing was signed. He went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. I'm going to put something else in here. We're at verse 11. So I was talking to someone, and I was telling them, I've been praying 2 times a day at 12 and at 6. As one of the brothers requested, and I usually pray for, I thank the Most High for releasing us from captivity and bringing us into the promised land, and bringing the curses upon the Gentile and taking the curses off of us, and just ensuring that all these plagues pass over our home, our families, and our nation. And I thank the Most High for predestinating me and this nation for his kingdom and choosing us. And that's what I do. So I told someone that I've been doing that, praying 2 times a day, and they asked me, was I Muslim? And I said no, and they were telling me that's what Muslims do. But as you see here, this is what the children of Israel were doing. And I've read somewhere else in the Bible where, you basically pray toward the east a certain amount of times a day when it comes to meditating. So a lot of the times people will try to put you in a basket or a box sometimes, but these are the practices of Israel. praying multiple times a day. So it says here, Daniel was kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before Elohim as he did aforetime, or as he did before. And he turned toward Jerusalem. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know where Jerusalem is. I really don't. These maps that these Europeans have created are not, they just make anything. I can no longer believe the things I see, just because the Most High has actually opened my eyes. So I am willing to question things now that I may have not questioned before. All right, back to verse 11. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. See, they knew he was going to go home and pray. They were probably sitting outside waiting around his windows to hear him. 12. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of God or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. And they're saying the law of the Medes and Persians, which changes not, as if it's the law of the Most High. The only law that changes not is the law of the Most High. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of captivity of Judah, once again, we're in captivity, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. And when they say maketh his petition here, they're actually just saying that he's praying. That's all. They're basically trying to say that no man should pray to any God for the next 30 days. Then answered they, I'm going to start at 13 again. Sorry, at 14. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. So the king wanted to save Daniel from this law. The king is now realizing possibly that they've set Daniel up. And of course he likes Daniel. He doesn't want any trouble for him. But now he has basically created this decree. So I guess before these people, he's, trying to stand steadfast on this Medes and Persian law that supposedly doesn't alter. Okay. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Now you see how these men keep on talking about the law of the Medes and Persians when they know that Daniel is under the law of the Elohim. But because they've done all this wickedness to try to separate Daniel from his God or his Elohim, you're going to see what happens to these people. And this is what's going to happen to these Gentiles coming, because they've made every way to separate us from the Most High, taking our feast days, removing Shabbat, wiping out our knowledge of who we are. Now, we also had a part in that. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm saying we didn't. We had a part in what has come upon us. So now back to the book. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Do you see how even back then the Israelites were always being thrown into dens and prisons and jails unjustly by these wicked nations? Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went into haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel, and has shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God, or our Elohim. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So just so you guys understand what we have going on here, not only did the men who circumvented Daniel, who came around him trying to destroy him and take his life, they were basically a representation of Satan. Not only did they get thrown into the lion's den, they never expected in a million years that he was going to survive being in that lion's den. For one, they knew that was the end of Daniel. They never suspected in 2 million years that they would be thrown into that lion's den. They thought they had a position. But not only did they get thrown into the lion's den, their wives and their children were thrown into the lion's den. So their entire line, their entire lineage, all of their DNA was destroyed right there in the same pit that they meant for Daniel. That same pit, or that same net, was cast upon themselves, and they were destroyed. This is what's going to happen to these Gentiles in these days. All of these pits and tricks that they have cast for us, the wicked ones I mean, they're going to fall into these same pits. So what does that mean for me? I'm trying to make sure I stay on top. I'm trying not to fall in the pit, and I'm trying to make sure I don't set anyone else up for a pit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish out this chapter. Verse 25. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, our Elohim. For he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. All right, so actually, I'm going to go ahead and go to chapter 7. We have 13 minutes. Let me go to chapter 7. This is Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it, or was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. I'm going to read Daniel chapter 7, verse 9 again. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man, came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days. Okay, and they brought him near before him. Okay, so he's saying the Son of the Most High came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days. See, I call the Son of the Most High Ancient of Days oftentimes, which I know he was here in the beginning of the creation of the earth. But here it's saying that they're, basically 2 different ones. So the Son of Man has come to the Ancient of Days. And they brought him near before him. And there were given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. I'm going to read that again. Well, that's verse 17, chapter 7, Daniel chapter 7, verse 17. These great beasts, which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Sounds like what's going on now. And think to change times and laws. Oh, that's exactly what's going on now, because we know the times have completely been changed, like such as the calendar, the New Year's, the feast days, and the laws. We don't even know the laws anymore most of the time. Let me read that again. 25, verse 25. This is chapter 7 of Daniel. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. What does that mean exactly? Until a time and times and the dividing of times. I don't really know what measurement that is. A time and times and the dividing of times. 100 years and 100 years and then half. I don't know. 200 years. I don't know. We'll continue on to verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my, cogitation or cogitations? I'm going to say my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. I think this is partially about what's going on now. I know the saints have been worn out. I know, as for me, I can barely watch American television. I can't watch the news anymore. I'm tired of seeing Israelites being killed in the streets by police and so on and so forth. Tired of seeing them all locked up in prison and all this foolishness, and seeing the children set up for failure with these broken homes. And I'm just tired. I've grown tired. I was telling you guys the other day, weary is the word, worn out is the word. I was telling you guys in that video the other day, I've grown tired of all the advertisements, all the murdering, all the killing, all the wickedness, all the time. You know, you just think, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out here, and I'll load this up. You guys have a great day, a wonderful Shabbat, and thanks for tuning in.